Welcome to the Midlife Mom Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how celebrating small wins can transform your life. So, I have over the past 6 months been part of a mastermind program. This mastermind specifically focused on it was a money manifestation program to help with mindset work around money. My coach is Jamie Berman. And if you have any interest in this kind of work, I highly recommend her. But what she's been having us do is work on our mindset. We've been working on it for 6 months, and it's been really, really insightful. And one of the things that she does in her mastermind program is she encourages us once a week to celebrate wins or kind of gratitude. And I was thinking about this the other day and the benefits of doing this and how much it's helped me weekly to think about my wins or my celebrations, things I could celebrate over the past week. And I wanted to share today some of the things that I gained from this and also that we can gain in doing this practice. So, what can happen for us is we might have the tendency to overlook our personal accomplishment so we can move on to the next thing. Often we're wanting to progress. And as we achieve something, yeah, we might be like, oh, good, we got that. And we get kind of a dopamine hit from it. Then we just go on to the next thing. And do we take time to really savor that accomplishment and to celebrate the win with ourselves and what that looked like for us? So, not being afraid to move on to the next thing, but celebrating where you're at and then maybe moving on to the next thing, but still continuing to celebrate. When we recognize and celebrate the good that is happening in our lives, what it does is it raises our energy in our body. As we think about these things and we celebrate it, we'll notice that the energy is raised and we feel good and we feel encouraged and uplifted in being able to notice our celebration or to notice our wins and to celebrate them. It also can help us to continue going after things that we want and to improve and grow because we're noticing what we've been able to do. Another thing that celebrating our wins can do is it also can motivate other people. Now, we don't always have to celebrate our wins with other people. We did in this mastermind program, we would type them out and put them into what is called a Slack channel so we could read it. And what that did for me when I saw other people celebrating, it was like, oh, yay, look what's happening for them. And it gave me a chance to celebrate with them. And it also encouraged me to continue going after things that I desire and ways I want to grow and change. So being able to celebrate can also be something that motivates other people. So, how do we do this? Obviously, this could be done however you want it to look, but I would just encourage a regular practice. My mastermind is ending soon, and I have decided that I will at least once a week. We've been doing it on Fridays, and I might just continue with that of writing down a celebration every Friday in my journal and celebrating things from the week so I can continue with that practice. You could do it more often, or you could do it, a couple times a month, but just be in a practice of regularly celebrating what is going on in your life and the good things that are happening. Also, this can help us to get more of what we desire as we celebrate what's happening. Then we're bringing more of that goodness into our lives. I found a really great quote that I love, and it says, what you focus on grows. What you think about expands. What you dwell upon determines your destiny. And that is by Robin Sharma. So, to give you an example of some of the things that I have celebrated to kind of get you thinking about things that you could celebrate, I'll share some of mine. I went back and looked at things that I had written down for celebrations. And this is a few of the ones that I've done over the past 6 months. Again, I was doing this weekly, so I won't give you all of them, but here's some of the ones that I had written. We last year had a medical bill that we were expecting to be really, really high. And when it came in, it wasn't nearly as high as we thought it was going to be. So I celebrated that. Another thing that I celebrated was having new insight. And as I had those insights, the encouragement and that I felt hopeful. being able to look at with my husband, we had a meeting, a kind of a financial meeting back in the fall to look over our debts and kind of to formulate a plan on how we were going to kind of attack those debts and start working on them. In the past, this would have made me super anxious. I would have been dysregulated, but I was able to sit down and look at it objectively, and we wrote it out and it was like, okay, this is, our plan. And I was very calm. So I was celebrating that growth that I'd had related to finances. Another one is being able to have the reserve so that we could take a trip to see family at Thanksgiving. Another one was me being able to start catching limiting beliefs that I was having that were having a negative impact on me, catching those and being able to start transforming them or reframing them to thoughts that would better serve me. Another one, my husband had in his business last year, one quarter that was really, really slow. And I'd said to him, well, maybe the last part of the year will be even better. And he's like, oh, yeah, maybe. But the last quarter of last year was actually really good. And so being able to practice those thoughts of bringing in goodness into our lives. Another one, being able to be given peace through God related to a really tough family situation last year and celebrating peace that came into my life. I was celebrating going to my very first retreat at the beginning of this year, which was amazing. And I'm so grateful I got to have that opportunity. Another celebration that I had was there was a book that I was reading, and I'm not a fast reader, so it takes me a while to get through a book, but I really liked the book and I knew it was going to be beneficial to me. And so I kept, like pushing myself to read it and to get through it. And then I finally did, and it was really, really good. And I was really proud of myself that I got through the book. And then another one, being able to get referrals in my business. I really appreciate referrals, and I was able to get some referrals and just really appreciated people thinking of me and referring people to me. The last one that happened more recently was being able to present at a local conference. I presented on the nervous system and how understanding our nervous system can help us in being able to get more of a life balance. And I was celebrating my efforts to put that together and then to execute it with a coworker of mine. And just how grateful I was to have that opportunity to present. So that just gives you some ideas on how it can be beneficial in our lives to be celebrating, not overlooking our accomplishments and moving on to the next thing, but taking time to celebrate and knowing that when we do this, it raises the energy in our body. It helps us to feel encouraged and to feel uplifted. And just the ways that you can do that. Think about my challenge to you is to think about how you could be celebrating more in your life, the things that are happening. That's all that I have for you today. If you are enjoying this podcast, I would love a rating and review. As you probably know, podcasters ask for this, but really, if it's something you enjoy, I would love that 5-star rating and review because what it does is it helps other people to find the podcast. And I will see you next week on the Midlife Mom Podcast.